How's it going, everybody? This is Tyler Drabo. Hope you're having another great day, and welcome back to another video. Alright, it's time for another edition of Haulin Games. In this series, I'll talk about all the pickups that I add to my video game collection throughout every month, and for this one, I'm going to be showing you all the games that I add to my collection for the month of June of 2023. And unfortunately, this will be the last Haulin Games video that I will be doing for a little while, and for two reasons. Number one, I've completely ran out of space to continue filling all my games up that I get every month, and number two, I also gotta watch my finances. So I'm going to be putting a stop to this series for now. It's not the end of the series, but a stop to it for now, and hopefully I'll resume it once I somehow get like a game rack, so that way I can add some more games here in my collection, or if I end up eventually moving out and getting into my own home. So hopefully this will not be a complete end to this series, but still, I managed to get quite a few games here for my last month of hardcore game collecting for now, and a lot of real heavy hitters here in this one too. So let's go ahead and take a look at all of them right now. And we're going to start out with our PlayStation 1 games. Now, the first four I'm actually going to show together as one because they're all from the same franchise, and I already have them for the PlayStation 2, but I felt like it would be good to get them for the PlayStation 1 as well, and also because one of these four games was the game that first got me into the sport of NASCAR. That's right, it is the EA Sports NASCAR franchise, and it's all the games NASCAR 2001, NASCAR Thunder 2002, NASCAR Thunder 2003, and the last one, NASCAR Thunder 2004. Now again, I already have them for the PlayStation 2, but I felt like I would go ahead and get them for the PlayStation 1 as well. NASCAR 2001, I don't have too much of, obviously it's the same thing on the PlayStation 2, only just 18 drivers, so really they were still going with the PS1 stuff with that one there. But the next one of the three, this was the one that got me into NASCAR as a fan. It was NASCAR Thunder 2002 with Jeff Gordon on the cover. Now obviously the PS2 one is obviously a lot better, but the PS1 version of this game, this was, I believe, the very first NASCAR game that I ever got back in, I think it was either late 2004 or early 2005. I don't remember when it was, but this was the very first game in the NASCAR franchise that I ever got, and this was the game that got me hooked into the sport. I really enjoyed playing the PS1 version of this game when I was a kid, and really I just felt like I would just get this game for now and just really relive the nostalgia of that. Of course, I haven't played the PS2 version in a while, but it feels real good to have the PS1 version of this. I really enjoyed it as a kid, and so hopefully it's still just as fun as an adult. And of course, the other two we have here, NASCAR Thunder 2003, obviously, it has Dale Earnhardt Jr., one of the most popular drivers in the sport, on the cover. Really, it's also a pretty good game, just like it is for the PlayStation 2. And of course, finally, what in my opinion is the greatest NASCAR video game of all time, NASCAR Thunder 2004. So many great things for the PS2 version. I felt like I would go ahead and try it out for the PS1 version as well. I already played a little bit of it, and the PS1 version of this, although it's not as good as the PlayStation 2 version, is definitely enjoyable in some sense. So yeah, I didn't really have much of an interest in getting the PS1 versions of all four of these games since I already got them for the PlayStation 2, but as soon as I saw NASCAR Thunder 2002 and really all these other games that were also there in the shelves at Digital Press, I just felt like, you know what, let's just go ahead and get all of these because, if it's really good on the PlayStation 2, maybe it's the same thing on the PlayStation 1 as well. So feels good to have not only these versions for the PlayStation 2, but also for the PlayStation 1 as well. I did add one more game into this month's collection from the racing franchise, and that is Vanishing Point. Now, this game was released back in 2000 by Acclaim, and it really tries to be like a copycat for Need for Speed and Test Drive or something like that. I will say that the game is definitely enjoyable, but not to a real certain extent. I mean, you also have your time trials and obviously your freestyle events as well, and so obviously I do feel like that Vanishing Point really does its best to really try to even itself up with those two racing franchises, and it is a good effort, but in the end, I don't think Vanishing Point really reaches up to the level that those two racing franchises are, but I still think it is an enjoyable game nonetheless, and hopefully I'll get to play more of this soon. Then we have a couple of war-based games. The first one is Strikers 1945. This is another World War II-esque game. You're basically just another fighter pilot that's going off against your enemy while fighting for your country as well. It's almost very similar to all of your other World War II fighter pilot games like Heroes of the Pacific. So it feels good to have this one. This was actually pretty expensive to get, but I'm still happy to have it in my collection. The next one I have is called Bahama Force: The Assault on Beltwalker 9. So basically humanity is under threat when Beltwalker 9 takes over its colony, and so basically you're doing everything you can to save your world and take down this robot before it completely wipes out all of mankind. There isn't really much else that I can say about this game. I mean, I will say it is a very difficult game to play, and really the controls of this were a little difficult in a sense, so I do feel like it's going to take a little while for me to be able to figure this whole thing out, but still, you know, it feels good to add another interesting game that's a little out of character in my collection, and so hopefully I get to play more of this soon and hopefully figure this game out. Now the next game I got, this is a game that I've been searching for almost 2 years. This game is really hard to find, and also at the same time very expensive. I can tell you the cheapest that I could find this game was almost like $70 or something like that, but still I just felt like that I really needed to get this game at some point if I was going to pause on video game collecting. Fortunately this month I found it again, and this time I was able to get this one. It is Skull Monkeys. Now this was the sequel to The Neverhood, which was only released on the PC, but it's really interesting because this game is basically one of the very few claymation games that are out there on the PlayStation 1 or really any video game console of any kind. So it's definitely interesting to really play as this character, which you try to save your world from all these skull monkeys that were completely taken over by your main arch nemesis here. But yeah, I definitely found it very interesting. When I first saw the gameplay of this back in like 2020, that was what really got me hooked in this game, and hopefully when I decided to get into video game collecting, I was hopefully going to somehow get this game. It took me a while, but I'm finally glad that I got it. I have not yet played it, but hopefully I do so at some point. And just like Jurassic Park, this has a very cool reflective cover. I mean, look at the eyes. They move this whenever you actually move the game case in any sort of direction, you know, left or right or something like that. I really like these reflective game cases. I really wish that we had more of these with the modern day video game consoles, but unfortunately there are not many of that right now. But still, this is still very cool. Like I said before, very glad to finally have Skull Monkeys. 2 more media-based games, one from a TV show and another one from a movie. The first one of them is called Tiny Toon Adventures: The Great Beanstalk. Now this is a sequel to Plucky's Big Adventure, which was released back in 1997, so really it's basically the same thing. You're playing as some of your favorite Tiny Toon Adventures characters and really just trying to complete the game as best as you possibly can, so not much I can say about this otherwise, but hopefully I get to play more of this game soon. And then the last one is from the movie called The Fifth Element. So this was obviously based off the movie The Fifth Element, which was released a year earlier. This game was released in 1998. I've never seen the full Fifth Element film, so I really can't tell you exactly what the game would be like if I haven't seen the film, but I have seen scenes of it, and a lot of them really shocked me. So if that's an indication, I definitely feel like that would be reflective in this game as well. Again, you know, obviously I can tell you that whenever there was a popular movie at the time, it was definitely going to be recreated in a game. Unfortunately, this one was not well received as far as I heard, but still, it is a game that is still very well known to many old school gamers, and really another one of those that is hard to find nowadays. So it feels good to add this one in my collection, and I'm definitely looking forward to playing this when I get a chance to do so. That's going to do it for all the PlayStation 1 games. Now we're going to move over to our PlayStation 2 games, and let me tell you what, there is nothing short of spectacular games in the PlayStation 2 side of things. Every single one of these games I got, these are all heavy hitter games, well, with the exception of one of them, but still big time games that are very well known to the public and are probably some of the greatest of all time. And I'm going to talk about the first 2 of them, which I definitely believe are based off of the War franchise, but the first one is from World War II, and this one is called Brothers in Arms Earned in Blood. Now this game is the sequel to Brothers in Arms Road to Hill 30, which is a game that I actually got back in 2018. That game was really difficult to play. However, I still managed to complete the game and I haven't touched it since, so I don't know exactly what this game will look like, but I do expect it to be the same because this is basically another squad-based game in which you get to control your own squad, which I definitely think is cool. So I'm definitely looking forward to getting to continue this story and see exactly where things pick up from the last game. It's definitely going to be very exciting to see. The next one that I got is called Urban Chaos Riot Response. This game is interesting because you play as a part of the Riot Response team. You know, you're tackling crime in the city, you know, stopping all the bad guys and basically protecting all the citizens of your city. You're basically just playing as you're a part of your city's police force unit. And so it's very rare that you get games like this nowadays, and so I felt like that it would be good to get this one. I've seen it in stores for quite a while. It's another one of those games that I had in my wish list for quite a while, but I just really hadn't had the time to be able to pick this one up until now. But it feels good to finally do so, and for what I've seen on the gameplay is really any indication, I'm definitely going to enjoy playing this game, so I'm looking forward to getting to play it. The next one that I got here is called Manhunt. This is probably one of the most famous stealth games of all time, but it's also very graphic as well. It's one of the most controversial ones I've ever played because although it's stealth, there's also a lot of violence in this one, but still, it's definitely another one of those iconic games from a great video game publisher in Rockstar Games, so I felt like I needed to get this one, and I'm glad to have this one. The next one that I got is called Bad Boys Miami Takedown. This is basically from the Bad Boys movie franchise, and unfortunately this was really the one game out of the 6 PS2 games where it really wasn't that enjoyable. I mean, the graphics are a little off and the voice acting is a little bit funky, and although it is very easy to take down some bad guys, I mean, some of the controls and some of the stuff that happens to this game, it just doesn't really make any sense whatsoever. And so I just find it to be a shame, in my opinion, that really they could have made it a much better game just like they did with the film, but really it wasn't the case. So I will play a little bit more of this in the future, but still, it wasn't that enjoyable in my opinion. Two more iconic games here. The first one is called Jak and Daxter: The Precursor Legacy. This is another one of those great role-playing games, and the very first game it was another incredible franchise. Jak and Daxter are two of the more popular figures in the PlayStation console of gaming, and really just two incredible mascots that you get to play as in this game. I really already enjoyed playing this game, and I'm looking forward to playing more of it. And the last one, another game that I've really come to enjoy, another great game in itself, God of War 2. I'm gonna be honest with you, I thought this was the original God of War, but I ended up getting the second God of War game instead, but hopefully I will get the original God of War at some point. But still, it feels great to add a game from the God of War franchise. You know, it's definitely one of the greatest video game franchises of all time, and another one that takes place during the prehistoric Odyssey, that takes place during the early days of civilization, and man, it is just another incredible game that was released for its time. Again, this is the second one. I didn't get the original one, so I'm hoping to get that one at some point, but still, God of War, what a great video game franchise. I'm very happy to have this one, and I'm hopeful to get to play this game as soon as I get the original. That's all for the PlayStation 2 games. Now we're going to move over into our PlayStation 3 games. Now, the first two of these, those are actually games that I already have for the PlayStation 2. However, I heard they were far better for the PlayStation 3, so I felt like I would go ahead and add them in my collection this month. The first one is called Stuntman Ignition. I really enjoyed playing this game on the PlayStation 2. This is basically the sequel to the original Stuntman, in which you get to do some really cool stunts in some really cool scenes in fictional movies that you get to take part of. And you know, just like the original Stuntman, this game is so much fun. Probably a lot more fun on the PlayStation 3 than it is on the PlayStation 2. I'm looking forward to getting to play this game more. The next one is called Call of Duty 3. Ignore the sticker here. If I tried to rip it off, it was going to damage the case here, so I decided to just leave it on there. But this is basically the very first Call of Duty game that was released for the PlayStation 3 when it was first released as a console back in 2006. But I have the PlayStation 2 version of it. It's one of my favorite games growing up as a kid, and so I felt like I would also go ahead and get the PlayStation 3 version of it here. Obviously, I expect it to be the same thing, you know. Obviously, it's seen as in World War II, and it's a battle of Normandy, so I already know what to expect in this one, but still, I just felt like I wanted to see exactly how it would look like in the PlayStation 3 compared to the PlayStation 2. So I haven't played it yet. Hopefully it is very good, and if so, this might be a game that I'll definitely play for a very long time. What's this, another Brothers in Arms game? Yep, you have it right here. This is Brothers in Arms Hell's Highway. This is the third and I think the last game released in the Brothers in Arms franchise for the original series back in World War II. I know that they've really struggled to try to build more games in this franchise since. I don't know if there's going to be another one soon, but it's another great video game franchise that revolutionized the World War II scene, especially with its squad-based setting, and so really cool to have this one. I'll get to this one after I finish with Earning Blood. And then the last one that I got for the PS3 is called Singularity. This one's interesting because it's more of like a time travel-esque game, you know. You're also fighting the past while also fighting the future to try to save humanity, so you're really going to multiple places at certain times during the game, and I found that to be really unique, considering that in Call of Duty Black Ops 3, at one point you're playing in the future and then you're also time traveling back in the past whenever you're trying to, you go into somebody's memory or something like that. So it really gives me vibes of that game. I haven't played it yet though. Hopefully I will get a chance to do so, and hopefully Singularity is very good, because to be honest with you, until picking this up, I really had no idea what this game was about. So hopefully this game is pretty good. Finally, we will move on to our PlayStation 4 games. Now, the first two, just like the first two in the PlayStation 3, they are both games that I already have for the PlayStation 3. However, both of these are two games from my favorite video game franchise of all time. I already have them for the PlayStation 3, but they were originally meant to be popularized for the PlayStation 4, and I felt like I would go ahead and get them here, considering that I've had them on my radar for a while. The first one is called Call of Duty Ghosts. This was the very first game for the PlayStation 4 that was released by Activision back in 2013. I already remember playing it for the PlayStation 3, but I heard the PlayStation 4 was probably slightly worse than the PlayStation 3, but still, obviously this was meant to be for this console when it came out in November of 2013, so hopefully this game is a little bit better in my sense than the PlayStation 3 version. The other one is called Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Same concept here as in the PlayStation 3 version. Obviously, Jonathan Irons gives you a chance to get back into the war scene after you initially lost your arm in a very devastating battle in Sayal. However, you go through so much in this game, obviously. I remember playing this game for the first time back in 2015. I just couldn't believe some of the stuff that I was seeing. And out of all the futuristic games that I've played from Call of Duty, this one, Black Ops 3, and also Infinite Warfare, I feel like this one really matches it the best. It's been really hard to find any really exciting games in the Call of Duty franchise since then. Well, outside of Modern Warfare, which was released in 2019, but still, it feels really good to have two games that I've already played for the PlayStation 3 into the PlayStation 4 collection, and so I'm looking forward to getting to play this one and Ghosts very soon. Finally, the last two games for the PlayStation 4. The first one is called Cyberpunk 2077. Now, this was a game that I had my eyes on for the PlayStation 5 when I eventually do get that console, but it won't be for a while. I felt like I would go ahead and add this one in the PlayStation 4 for now. Obviously, this game was scorned when it was first came out for the PlayStation 4, but obviously a lot of improvements have been made to it since then, and so hopefully it is reflected here in this game. I'm looking forward to getting to play it for the first time, finally. And then the very last game that I will collect into my collection for a while, Murdered Soul Suspect. This is another one of those investigative games, however, in a much more interesting sense. The thing is that you're actually an investigator with supernatural abilities, and so you're basically using them to try to stop a serial killer that's really causing a lot of crime and a lot of killings in your city. And so basically I found that to be very interesting, because usually most investigators, they would love to have supernatural abilities to be able to try to solve some of the most interesting mysteries there are, but it's usually not the case in real life. It is here in this game though. So yeah, this is basically LA Noire, but with a real interesting twist here. The fact that you have a lot more unique abilities to stop crime than it would have in LA Noire. So I definitely find it real interesting. I haven't played it yet, but hopefully I get to do so soon, because I definitely feel like this would be another one of those really interesting games that you really think would be underrated in a sense. So looking forward to playing this game very soon. I really wish it didn't come to this, but that is it for the very last monthly haul that I will be doing for quite some time. It's been such a joy getting to share with you all the games that I've gotten every month for the last 2 years. And although it's unfortunately come to an end for now, like I said before, it is not a complete end to this series. I am hoping to restart this series soon once I ultimately get more space or ultimately move out into my new home. But for now, this is basically going to be it for this series, and if I do end up getting any more games during this time, it's not going to be much. Probably maybe like 1 or 2 a month, which I'll probably share on my social media pages. But still, I really enjoy all the support that you've given me for this series. I am hoping to make more video game content for my franchise, but a lot more like bad game reviews and also some history in regards to like video game franchises and stuff like that. So if you have any suggestions about what I should do for my future video game content to substitute for all the Haulin Games series that I'm stopping for now, let me know down in the comments. I'll be more interested in hearing what you think I should make in regards to like video game content and stuff. But still, it is a great series. I've really enjoyed getting to present to you all these games that I've been able to get, and although it is coming to an end for now, I am hoping to ultimately restart this franchise very soon. But still, I've really enjoyed video game collecting, and although I am putting a stop to it for now, I will tell you though, I am still a video gamer at heart, and I really enjoy getting all these video games right here. I'm really looking forward to getting to play all of these, and hopefully more when I I do restart video game collecting in the near future. Anyways, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed it. As always, if you'd like to see more of my content, be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when my latest video is released. Comment for future suggestions for all my videos, whether it's blogs, projects, or challenges, you name it, leave it in the comments below and I'll do my best to make them. As always, follow me on my social media, all the links are in the description below. That's going to do it for this video. I hope you're having another great day. As always, I hope to see you all again in another video very soon. So long, everybody.